Welcome to this set of tutorials. So basically, we've been building a banking application, and we have actually done quite a lot of things. So here we are just going to step further in our. So we are going to take a step further to continue this banking application. So far, we've been able to create an account. We've been able to generate an account number for the user. We've been able to set a default account balance on creation of the account. So for today, we are taking a look at a number of other services. So we want to be able to do balance inquiry. Balance inquiry is that given a particular account number, you want to check how much is available in that account. You want to also do name inquiry. Okay. So meaning that given a particular account number, you want to check which name is attached, is mapped to that account number in your database. Then apart from that, you want to also credit the account. You want to debit the account, and then also do a transfer. So you might want to ask what's the difference between credit, debit, and transfer. So credit is and debit are both one-way transactions. Someone walks into a bank and then deposits money into his bank. So it's one way. You credit an account, or he goes to the bank and then he collects money from his account. So that's basically another one-way transaction. So however, the transfer is a two-way transaction. So you pick up your phone, then you transfer to someone else. So in that step, you are actually debiting one account and then crediting another account. So it's a combination of these two guys. So that's basically what we are going to be doing today. So the first step for the balance inquiry and name inquiry is I'm going to create a DTO that will handle. I'll create a DTO that will handle that. Okay. So here I'm just going to create a new class. I will call it inquiry request. Okay, so I believe that for both balance inquiry and name inquiry, I need to actually specify an account number. Okay, so here I will just create an instance variable, private string account number. Okay, then here I would add the usual annotations, data, no ask constructor, all ask constructor. What else do I need to add here? Maybe add the builder. So I think I should be fine now. So I'll just move to the implementation, to the service class actually. So at this point, I basically want to do balance inquiry. So balance inquiry should just give me information about the user. So I'll just return a bank response and then call this guy, or let's, yeah, balance inquiry. Okay, then the request will be this DTO is basically created here. Okay, so it will be the inquiry request. So I would also create the other method, which is the name inquiry. So I want the name inquiry to just return a string this time. Okay, I'll call it name inquiry. So here I'll just pass in the inquiry request, the parameter. So then I'll go to the implementation class and then implement those two methods. Okay, so implement methods. Okay, okay. So I think okay, I need to remove this. I've actually tried to mimic that guy before. So to move ahead now, back to the implementation class. So the first step is I want to check that particular account number. I basically need to check if it exists. So to check if it exists, I need okay, good. I have this repository method that checks if a particular account number exists. So you see boolean exists by account number. So that's the first step. Okay. So let me The first step is I'm just going to check if the provided provided account number exists in the database. So since I've auto-wired the user repository, I can easily make use of that method. So here I'll just say boolean is account exists equals user repository dot exists by account number, and the account number will be the account number from this request. Okay. So first thing is if that account doesn't exist, okay, so take note of this note here. If you actually omit this, your result will be unpredictable. Okay, so if the account does not exist, I want to return some error messages. So yeah, I'll just return an object of bank response using that builder method again. So I need a response code, need the response message, and then I need account info. So for the response code, I think I've actually created some custom error messages. Okay, so account not exists. So basically these two messages here would actually serve this particular purpose. So that's when the account number doesn't exist. So here I'll just do account details dot account not exist code. Then this one would be account utils dot account not exist message. Okay. And then since the account doesn't exist, the account info can just be set to null. And then yes, we will be fine. So the main issue now is when that particular account exists. So if the particular account exists, so I basically need to retrieve an object of user. Okay. Let's say found user will be equal to the user repository dot find by account name, and it will be request dot get account name. Okay. So yeah, at this point, I would just so I can then return bank response. So my response code should be account details dot account found code. Then response message should be account details dot account found success. And then the account info here. So the first, so we just build that object as well. And then the first point is we are trying to do the balance inquiry, right? So for the balance inquiry, I might just return a few more information about the user. So account balance first. So the account balance will just be gotten from this derived user here, the user we found for that account number. So this will be found user dot get account balance. The next one would be account number. For the account number, we can just use the same account number we provided here. And then the next one would be account name. So the account name would be found user dot get first name concatenated with found user dot get last name and concatenated with found found user dot get other name. So basically with this, I think we are done with. Oh, sorry. Yeah, we need to add the semicolon at this point. So yeah, at this point we'll have actually returned information about that user. But don't forget that this is perhaps the most important thing we want to return, and we've achieved that. So basically, it's almost the same procedure for name inquiry. Okay, so I'll just do some copy and paste. So I think the first step is to check if that account exists, right? So giving an account number, you want to check if the if that account exists. So, so at this point, so I just need to return a string here. So I'll just return account details dot account not exist message. So this should be fine. So in that case, when the account actually exists, I basically just need to create an object of the user. Let's say found user again this time. Would be from the user repository dot find by account name, and then to be gotten from this request detail here. Okay, so having derived the user, I basically need to just return the username, right? So I would return found user dot get first name, then concatenate with a space, then found user dot get last name, concatenate with a space again, and then plus found user dot get other name. Yes. So this is our name inquiry now, and then I will just build the corresponding controller methods now. Okay, so the first one is I could do a get mapping, I could do a post mapping. So get mapping, let's call this balance inquiry. Okay, so then public, we are returning a bank response here. Balance inquiry, which is the method name, and then the request body would be the inquiry request. Then you just return that method from the user service, passing your request. Then we can do the other one is the name inquiry. Name inquiry public. So this is to return a string. Balance name inquiry now. At the request body. Inquiry request. Then return user service dot name inquiry. Yes, so I will just restart the server now. Okay, so having restarted the server, I'll just go to Postman. So I've created some sample requests so you can see credit user. So I'm testing with this account number now. So once I send this, it gives me the correct. It gives me the correct account details or the correct customer name. So I can go back to my database and then just check with another account number. Okay, so let me check with this one. I would copy it, come over into the request body. Okay, so send. This one says method not allowed. So let me. Oh, that's an error from my end. So let me go back to the controller. So basically, I'm trying to do name inquiry. Let me refresh this thing. So I have to append slash name inquiry to this slash name inquiry. Save this, then send. Okay, good. It actually provides my account name here. Okay, so we could copy the same account number, use it for balance inquiry, paste it in, save, and then send. So good. We have the information about that user actually provided here. Okay, so balance inquiry, we are actually getting we are getting a zero here. Okay, so that will now lead us to doing the credit method. So let's go back in here to the user service and then move one step further. So moving one step further would see us implement the credit account. Okay, so and then for this I would need to create another DTO. So so I would want to use the same DTO for both credit and debit. So I'll just do credit debit request. Okay. So to actually credit an account, I basically need an account number to credit. So account number, and then I also need an amount. So I'll use a big decimal again for the amount. So with these two information, I can actually credit or debit an account. So data no ask constructor at the I think these three should work, should be enough for now. So yes, so in here I'll just add that credit debit request. Okay. So and then I'll come over here to implement that class. Okay. Oh, sorry, to implement that method. So now to credit an account, the procedure is basically to start by checking if the account we intend to credit exists. If the account exists, okay, so that's the first step. Then I think we've done that here already. So I can just copy this. Okay. So after checking if the next thing is if the account doesn't exist, I can then return this response here. Okay, just to inform the client that that account doesn't exist. Okay, so if not, I'll just retrieve a user, the correct user from the database. User to credit the user repository dot and the account number. Then the account number will be from this request I'm sending, right? That DTO. So it will be request dot get the account number. So that links that particular account number to a specific user. So the next thing I basically need to do is now to update the information of that user. So to update the information of that user, I need to do user dot to credit, right? User to credit dot set account balance. Okay. So don't forget that if you are crediting the account, right, you actually what you are trying to do is you want to update this account balance field. So that's basically what you are trying to do. So let's go back to this class. So you want to set the account balance by just adding the amount you have added into this DTO class. Where is it? So you want to add this amount to the current value of that is inside that account. So if, for example, what you have is 20,000 in your account, you want to add a value to it. So what you will just do here is you do user to credit dot get account balance. So since if you take note of this user to credit, if you look at this account balance instance variable from inside the entity, okay, so account balance is big decimal. So the way you add two big decimals, so this is the other amount here, which is also a big decimal. So the way to add a big decimal is quite different from the way you add integers and the double numbers. So you have to call add method. Okay. So this add method you now you append in the other you append the other big decimal value, which will be the request dot get amount. Okay, so with this, we are able to actually update the account of that particular user. So once we've done this, the next thing we want to do is we want to return our response. So and do this then dot response code dot response message then dot the account info, which will then build inside here. Okay, so the response code, I think I've also added custom response code, credited success message. So I'll just add these two guys here. Account details dot account credited success. Then this one would be account details dot account credited success message. So then here we are going to have our account name, which will be from this user to credit, right? So we'll just do user to credit dot get first name as a user to credit dot to be dot get last name then dot user to credit dot get other name. Okay, so yeah, then the next thing we want to do is the account balance. We want to check, we want to return the updated account balance now, which would now be user to credit dot get account balance. And the last one would be account number, right? So the account number is what we actually sent. Request dot get account number. So yes, I can then build the controller method for this guy. Then we test it. So here I will just do let's do post mapping. And I'll call this one credit and public bank response credit account, and then the request body to bind with the credit debit request. Here I'll just return, I'll call this service method credit account and then pass in the request. So if I run this guy now, okay, so I can come over here, credit account. Okay, so I'm trying to add 10,000 here. So I've tested this before. Let me clear this good. So I'm adding 10,000 to this account number. So I'll just send and then good. We have that particular account. We have the correct response coming back. We can also then check our database. Okay. Wow, this guy is not updating. Okay, so this guy didn't update. And so I think I need to do something to this code here. So what I would let me go back to this guy here. So let me do user credited user equals this. Oh, so I think I get where the issue came from. So after doing this, I actually didn't save that. I didn't save that user. So I'll just call the user repository dot save and then save user to credit. So if I refresh this now, hopefully it works. Okay, so let me test it again now. Okay, so let me go back to my database, refresh this guy. So good, it works now. Okay, so just to test again, I could test with this other account number here, or I could actually update this guy once more, then see what we have. Okay, so it tells me rightly that my account balance is now 20,000 since I added 10,000 before. So if you go back to the database and then refresh, so you see that we have 20,000 there. Okay, so what if I decide to try with a wrong account number? So let's say I change this to 1, which is a non-existent account number now, and then send. So it says, it gives me the correct response. Okay, good. So I think the credit account works. So now that this is done, the next thing we need to worry about is the debit account. Okay, so I'll just come here and provide. Okay, I think I need to add the debit account here. So back response, debit account. Okay, so if you are going to debit an account, okay, let me implement this method first. So if you are going to debit an account, there are two checks we need to make. We need to check if the account exists. Then we also need to check if the amount you intend to withdraw is not more current account balance. So those are the two checks we need to make here. So let's start with the first one, which I can just copy and paste. So if you try to do this, okay, it means this one is just to check if the account exists. So if it doesn't exist, you return this. Okay. Then the next step is if the account actually exists. If it actually exists, so at this point, we will then now check again if the we'll then check if the amount that is currently in the account. Okay, sorry. So before doing that, I need to actually get the user. So I will do user to debit this time to be equal to user repository dot find by account number. So this will be request dot get account number. So at this point, so I need to now check if the so this is in the case where the user exists. So I need to actually check if the user. Okay, so I basically need to check if the user to debit dot get account balance, if it's less than the amount you intend to debit. So request dot get amount. So you can't apply less than here. So I want to subtract the request dot get amount. Okay. So I want to look for if it is less than 0.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. How are you? Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So at this point, I basically need to then I need to instead of subtract, I could just do compare to. So request dot get amount dot equals minus one. This work. Okay, so I may need to check the correct method for comparing two big decimal numbers. Yeah, okay. So what I've decided to do here is to convert the big decimal values to integer. So I'll just do int available balance will be equal to the user to debit dot get account balance. Okay, convert it to string first. So and then at this point I will just do integer dot pass int. So this gives me back the integer value of our available balance. And then I will then do the same for debit amount, which will then also be integer dot pass int. Then it will be request dot get amount dot to string. Okay, so I'll just do if available balance is less than debit amount. Okay, then I want to also return some set of messages. So I'll just return bank response dot builder dot build. Okay, response code dot response message dot yeah, account info, which will be set to null. So here I can come to my account details and then do public static final string insufficient balance underscore code to be equal to 006. And the next one will be public static final string insufficient balance underscore message. So just type in insufficient. Okay. So at this point here, we have the two messages we intend to use. So I'll just put account details dot insufficient balance code. So this one would be account details dot insufficient balance message. Okay. So return this message. So and then okay. So else what we'll just do is user debit dot set account balance. So then now be the user debit dot get account balance minus request dot. So we have to use the subtract method. We just do request dot get amount. Okay, so having done this, then we need to also now save that particular user to debit. Okay, then at this point, then return our response. Okay, so having done this now, we need to pass our response code, we need to pass response message, we need to pass account info. Okay, so in this case, I can set my messages again. So this will be account debited, no, success. Then it's a public static string account underscore debited underscore message account has been successfully debited. Okay, so yeah, so we can then come over here, use those messages, account details dot so here we just put in our account number, which we can get from the request dot get account number. And the next one would be the account name, which would be the user to debit dot get first name, concatenate space, user to debit dot get last name, dot user to debit dot get other name. So once this is done, I think the last message we need to account balance. So I believe we can get the account balance user to debit dot get account balance. So I think we should be good now. So I'll just then create the controller, this time for debit, as boost mapping, call it a debit, and then public bank response debit account at the request body, create debit request on user service dot debit amount request. So I'll then refresh this guy now. So we'll try the debit now and see if it works. Okay. So I think this guy was a 3. I'll change it to debit. Then let's debit 2000 and see. Okay, so I've gotten a user. Okay. So number format exception. So that's 20,000. At what line was that? Line 40. This guy. So anyway, I think I know where that would come from. That would be this calculation. Okay. So I think in this case, the best thing to do is to convert this big decimal guy to. So the best thing to do is to convert it to a double. So if I make too many changes, it will affect all of the code. So so I want to change this to big integer and change this as well to return a big integer. Okay. Let's try this again and see. Okay. So let's see. Good. So basically, it gives me the right uh, amounts that should remain in the account. So I can also check the database to confirm, and then just refresh this guy. So I have that. So this service once again it works. And then just to explain what I have done at this point. So working with big decimal actually is a bit more complex than working with ordinary integer and so on. So what I've done at this point is I converted the current balance of the account to big integer, which will lead to some loss of precision and it's not advisable. And then I converted the amount to be withdrawn or to be debited to big integer. Then from here, in order to do the comparison, I converted them both to the int values, and then I was able to actually do the comparison. So this works quite fine. So another thing I might want to do is, let's say I want to withdraw 20,000 from 18,000 balance. So it tells me insufficient balance. So I think our our code works just fine. So I can refresh this just to be sure that okay, good. So all right, this I wanted us to do the case of transfer, but then I would leave this as probably a task for everyone to do. And then in that case, you can also add the alert, the SMS alert service to these two different services that we've created so that you can also receive the alert via mail. So all right, see you guys in the in the next recording. Yeah, and bye for now.